Hey food buffs, check this out. This is a real Frosted Flakes ad from 1953. And this? It's a box of Frosted Flakes I just bought at the store. Tony used to look very different. So here's the question we're going to answer. How did we get from this sweet, soft-bellied Tony to this internet heartthrob Tony who was literally chased off X by furry fans? Right away, you notice some obvious differences. The original Tony had a rounder face, weaker arms, and he was often shown with his son, this tiger cub. But in fact, there were many less obvious differences that were changed in each decade. Each one key to helping Tony change with the times. Today, I'm going to reveal all the changes and tell you the story behind each one, because this is the incredible true story behind Tony the Tiger. Tony's story starts in 1952. This is the year Kellogg's released Sugar Frosted Flakes and the original Tony was created. The sugar frosted version of Corn Flakes was targeting the kiddos, so they had to have fun, friendly advertising. To do this, they worked with an advertising company called Leo Burnett. This company had already worked on the Jolly Green Giant and would later create the Pillsbury Doughboy, the cutest of all the mascots. The ad guys at Leo Burnett created the concept of a talking tiger, and they named him after one of their colleagues, Raymond Anthony Wells. So Tony is short for Anthony. And then Tony was finalized by a husband and wife power couple in Children's Illustrating. And he was given his famous voice and slogan by Thurl Ravenscroft, who was also the voice of Disney's biggest theme parks. He also sang You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch. Before we move on, we need to talk about the kangaroo in the room. This is evidence that Tony the Tiger was not the only mascot for Frosted Flakes. In fact, there were several more. Let me show you a little piece of history. This is a Kellogg's tablecloth from 1954. On here, you can see the long-lost mascots of Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. Here we have George the giraffe. Next up, Elmo the elephant. Fancy boy, Zeke the zebra. Newt the gnu. Katie the kangaroo. And last but not least, Pete the porcupine. Maybe the best one? It's weird to think that in another world, it could have been Katie the kangaroo or George the giraffe that you and I grew up with, right? Moving on. Okay, now you know that Tony was created as a kid-friendly mascot for Kellogg's sugar-coated cereal. Now, let's take a look at the original Tony. This is a 1954 magazine ad. This is so fun because it clearly shows Tony walking on all fours instead of on two legs like a person. This is something that you don't see modern Tony doing anymore. He's even naked like a wild tiger. Just look at the ad copy. It says, "I'd stalk a mile for Kellogg's Sugar Frosted Flakes." Stalk is an interesting word choice because it's kind of threatening. The OG Tony was just more of a wild tiger. Moving on. At this point, Kellogg's wanted Frosted Flakes to appeal to older kids and adults as well. So Tony was shown in a coach character and he was involved in a lot of different sports, from football to baseball to boxing. Just look at this go-getter. Tony's holding this dumbbell with one finger and his eyes are closed. This is why ads always say, don't try this at home. You can see that Tony is trending towards being more human, but he's not quite there yet in the 60s. One, he's wearing an animal skin, which, you know, where did that come from? Two, his hands are still paws. He doesn't have human ticklers yet. Alrighty, we're off to the 70s. In the 70s, Kellogg's works to bring Tony to life with a backstory. They show him with a whole family. He's got 2 kids, a wife, a mom, and hilariously, they're basically all named Tony. There's baby Antoinette. Antoinette is like the lady version of Anthony. Tony is short for Anthony. There's Tony himself, Mrs. Tony, and Tony Jr., and Mama Tony. It's all very on brand. I'm not mad about it. They apparently also decided that he's Italian around this time. And if you pay close attention, you'll notice how his face is less tiger-like now. His cat eyes have been rounded out, his face is longer with a stronger chin, and importantly, he's not always licking his lips anymore. Before we go to the 80s, I want to show you this cereal box from 1978 because you can see the nutritional information panel on the side. We're used to seeing this now, but for a long time in history, companies didn't have to include this information. In the 1970s, people were eating more processed foods and starting to get more curious about what exactly was in this stuff, which is why Kellogg's added this information, but this was kind of ahead of its time. It's not until the 90s that nutritional labeling becomes mandatory on most packaged foods because that's when the Nutritional Labeling and Education Act passed. Nice, we've made it to the 80s. You probably noticed right away that 80s Tony is jacked. His face is chiseled and his chin could break a rock. But you maybe didn't notice that the word sugar has been taken out of the cereal name. Sometime in 1983, Kellogg's dropped the word sugar from the name Sugar Frosted Flakes. So all the boxes from 1984 onwards are only called Frosted Flakes instead of Sugar Frosted Flakes. This is subtle but brilliant marketing to make Frosted Flakes feel healthier at a time when consumers were getting more suspicious about what's in processed foods. That honeymoon period of just noticing how delicious and convenient this stuff was starting to fade. Hey, let's try not reminding them that sugar is a main ingredient in the cereal. Just cut the word out. Cut out the word sugar. Oh, and make Tony look buffer. Oh yeah! Up next is my favorite decades, 90s and 2000s. The Frosted Flakes boxes from this time period has Tony featured alongside a lot of different sports stars. It's taking Tony's fitness persona to the next level. He's not just fit, he hangs out with elite athletes. Also notice that his tiger paws are fully evolved and he's able to do the #1 sign with his flexible fingers. You know, I probably ate a lot of these boxes when I was playing Pokemon Red. Moving on. Okay, you can probably guess what happens in the 2010s. Kellogg's dips its toes into social media, and they get the Twitter account @RealTonyTiger. And this is what that account looks like today. What happened was he just got too many really saucy messages from furries. Tony had made his full evolution to internet heartthrob, and he was overwhelmed by his admirers. Tony tried to tone things down by responding with, "Hey, Cubs could be watching," but in the end, Kellogg's decided it wasn't worth it, so they stuck to the more generic Kellogg's Frosted Flakes account. Tony becomes a VTuber on Twitch in 2022, and he's kind of a natural. All right, food buffs, I'm gonna leave you with one more fun fact, and it's probably my favorite because I kind of discovered it. So, I watched the entire Twitch stream, and Tony revealed something very interesting. You see, if you deep dive into Tony the Tiger lore, you will come across a myth that says modern-day Tony is actually the grown-up version of Tony Jr., the tiger cub. And this actually seems possible because Tony Jr. was always shown as being the sporty one in the family. But in the Twitch stream, Tony the Tiger was actually shown a 1950s image of Tony. And he didn't refer to that image as his dad. He referred to that image as himself and even said that he does not age like normal humans do.
I've had a lot of changes throughout the years. I don't age like normal humans, I guess.
So, there you have it. You heard it here first. Tony the Tiger is not Tony Jr. He's always been Tony the Tiger. Alright, food buffs, comment below your favorite cereal and maybe I'll do an episode on it. Also, this is the first ever video for this channel. It's a brand new channel. You know what to do. Please hit like, hit subscribe, comment below. All that stuff will help the channel grow and I'll be able to make more of these videos for you. Thanks so much. Bye.